Welcome in, everyone. We've got a fun-filled, action-packed episode of Q&A with Halfcasters.
Hi.
So, basically, going to dive right in. I have a selection of community-submitted questions.
Question. Do they have any, is there any math in there?
They should have made us do math. That's so funny.
I was going to be like, if there's math, nose goes, and I'm putting my finger on my nose.
What's 23 minus 76? Anyway, so, so let's dive right in. I think just kind of starting from the beginning is the best way to go with inspiration. A couple people asked about like character inspiration and such. So we had Heather, aka my mother. Thank you, Mother.
Hi, Mom.
Over on Patreon. She asked, how are the characters you all play similar and different to your real life selves? And Tiff over on Discord asked, how did you come up with your character? How much of yourself is reflected on your character? It's like
that's too many questions. One at a time.
What are your inspiration, or how did you come up with your character? And then how are they like similar and different to yourselves?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I came up with Maeve during an autistic hyperfixation on Goodfellas. And originally she was not at all how she is now. Because the campaign was also different at the time. That was back when Darren was still writing the campaign. And so we were kind of like brainstorming back and forth the idea of the world and things like that. So originally I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have like a chick in a biker gang. And I was like, oh, biker gang, blah, 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 blah. And then I watched Goodfellas like 4 times over the span of a week because I was getting really bad period cramps and I couldn't sleep. So I was watching Goodfellas at like 3 a.m. on the couch, trying to make sure that nobody was awake. But yeah, and then from there, it kind of turned into this like mob daughter vibe. And then, of course, yourself bleeds into your character a lot. So Maeve has a lot of like rich kid trauma, as much trauma as a rich kid can have, which is basically just being ignored and being just another number in the family kind of thing, which I have a lot of as well. And so that comes out in her personality, but it wasn't part of the original planning. It was just something that made sense that I already had that I could draw from experience. But also being like kind of judgmental and mean and things like that. Things that I don't like about myself, I put into my characters because that's the way that you deal with your own shit. So yeah, I think a lot of that was just finding traits about myself that I didn't like maybe being super judgmental and having like rich kid need to stand out against my crazy family vibes and just going from there.
Yeah, I like that. And that's very much a thing that I do too with like watching Goodfellas and being like, I can make a character off of that.
Yeah,
like every time I watch a movie or show, I'm always like, but how do I D&D this?
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh, I want that. I want that exact same vibe.
Yep.
For the listeners at home, what is Goodfellas?
Goodfellas is a old classic Italian mafia movie. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on Max. And it's very good. And it's very long. Oh my God, is it long? And if you have any like triggers about cheating on your spouse and things like that, which I have, maybe don't watch it. But it's really good. It's really, really good.
But the healthy hyperfixation
I was gonna say,
you have.
don't. It's a trigger.
Don't submit yourself to it. But it doesn't happen until the end of the movie, which is when it gets bad anyway. So it's like I watched for the beginning. The beginning of the movie is so good because you watch this teenager like get indicted into the mafia, and it's so good, and just like the world building is so good, and then he turns out to be an asshole as an adult, which I mean that's all men. So yeah.
Amen,
basically what Des is saying is do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Do not submit yourself to triggers unless you really want to watch a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Who wants to go next?
I mean, I'll go. Mine's probably going to be super boring.
Fair enough.
So could never be boring. You're the favorite, and everyone knows that.
No, that's just I got lucky with my dice. So my character, Banabin. So I didn't really know what kind of character I wanted to play necessarily. I just knew that I wanted to play a tinkerer kind of role. Mm-hmm. So it kind of started off with the class first before I picked like race and everything like that. So we all did kind of like inspiration Pinterest boards, and basically the initial kind of creation and inspiration for Banabin was a mix of Rocket Raccoon and there's a gif of a small little furry bunny holding a gun that is as tall as it is and wider than it is. And it's basically nice and happy. And then the second part of the gif, little angry eyebrows are drawn on it. So it's like...
It's really cute. If we can find the gif, we'll post it with this. But yeah, I remember you making Banabin and being like, oh, I love her from those two inspos.
Yes. So the name Banabin came from it was not hard work. I just Googled fantasynamegenerator.com.
I mean, that's the way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. But I wanted to find a name that because what we did with her backstory is she's not from this realm. Mm-hmm. So, because I think that was I kind of wanted Banabin to be a little bit of a stretch from a lot of characters that I usually play, which are very tall elves who all have British accents.
And ice blonde hair.
Yes, ice blonde hair. So Banabin does not have ice blonde hair. Banabin's a little bit more kind of a caramel, kind of cute color, and southern accent. But I wanted to play, she's not like from this era because she kind of fell out from the Feywild. So kind of not understanding a lot of the stuff that goes on is not only part of that kind of backstory to show that dichotomy between this is how this world works and Banabin does not understand, but also is very much a lot of, I've noticed like as of like myself for the longest time, like at work, trigger alert, might do a little bit of a trauma dump.
We love a trauma dump.
But
let it out.
At work, I was never really, I didn't really fit in the initial areas of my work life growing up. And so I've now just kind of recently been in a place that is basically a lot of black sheep, which basically if you work in the tech industry, it's filled with black sheep. But I was like a black sheep in amongst white sheep, and it just did not pan out. So it's kind of processing that and also just kind of having fun with it and processing and healing it instead of being like, oh, I'm going to try to change myself. Mm-hmm. I'm going to cover myself in white paint. It's like, no, I'm going to be black sheep. I'm going to be
the weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the weirdo, and it's great.
Yeah.
And sometimes the dice just heal your inner child and let everyone love you.
So true. I really like that because I feel like that's something that resonates with a lot of people as well. Like, I think that there's a reason why Banabin's the fan favorite, and it's literally just because I think at some point in everybody's life, there's a time when you feel othered. And I think that you display that really well with Banabin of like, it's okay for people to other you. That's something that's going to happen, but it's up to you to be how you or like respond to it in the way that you want to respond to it. And Banabin's always super cheerful and just like unaware, blissfully unaware. And I love that, like to just come into the world and just be like ignorance is bliss. And I'm going to pretend I don't know what you're doing because I'm chilling. I'm vibing. And I love Banabin's vibes.
Yeah.
So good.
Banabin is the bunny gun gif, Rocket Raccoon, no thoughts, head empty
cinnamon roll of our world. The absolute sweetie cinnamon roll baby.
Love it. Yeah.
And I feel like she kind of balances the group out as well.
Yes.
I think that we needed that sort of like element of, you know, someone being super wholesome and being
Cheerful innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
being
got a lot of
very innocent.
angst on one side of the table, and then Vanna comes
Darren
in.
is
He
staring
just-
at me.
Yeah, he just waved at me too. I don't know what that means.
There's a lot of angst, and then Vanabin, the meme lord.
Yeah, with Doge 2.0.
My
Just
God.
so good.
Yep.
It's nice to be to like have a comic relief character too. Because I feel like if we were all playing like edgy characters, it would get really heavy and hard to listen to. But it's like, all right, it's time for adventures with Banabin. What are you doing? And you're like, I'm covered in soot. I'm covered in soot, and there's
gonna take
glass
out
on
my
the
gun.
floor. I want to take out my gun, and we're all like, help! And it's so funny.
Yep. Love it. Storm?
It's your
Wait.
turn, baby.
So Kira is essentially a 2008 MySpace era with the icons of like I eat hamburgers and basically just emo but doesn't make any sense, but also very wild energy. How I came up with Kira's name is from an anime called Death Note. So I don't know if anyone has watched Death Note, but it is basically a character that thinks that he is God and kills people with a book called The Death Note. And a TLDR, he's kind of an asshole. So I took the name Kira because I had actually just finished rewatching Death Note. And I was like, you know what? Kira's going to be kind of an asshole. So let me take the name of an asshole who thinks that he's better than everyone, but at the same time is like worse than everyone. And Kira kind of was based off of me when I had my little scene phase. And anyone who's listened to our Patreon talks, I've explained that I was an asshole kind of when I was a kid and like 12 years old, like no one understood me. Like I listened to a bunch of like emo, like hardcore screamo. But at the same time, all I wanted to do was be loved. And I really didn't have that many friends. And it was just like a really hard time. So like what Des said about like healing your inner child and putting pieces of yourself in a character that you're trying to heal a part of yourself. Kira is a big part of who I was and kind of who I am still learning to like let go of. But she's kind of, you know, she has that like, oh, woe is me. But at the same time, like she's like trying to figure out her friendship with Maeve and trying to like incorporate like Banabin and like her wholesomeness and not like immediately judge people because Kira loves to judge people. And then in this last episode with the arena, like, you know, doing dances and having people literally boo at her in the crowd. Humbling. It just goes to show that like Kira is here for a good time, not for a long time.
Yeah. She's living on vibes exclusively at the arena.
So she's all about the angst. She's all about the like trying to find herself, but also thinking that she's the shit. And, you know, her whole outfit is basically everything I wish that I could have worn when I was 12, but my mom said no. So she's wearing like, you know, like the fishnets, and she's wearing like the punk, you know, arm fishnets, and then like the punk skirt, the skater skirt, and then like a crop top and
fingerless long gloves.
The fingerless long fishnet gloves, and just
just a full amalgamation of everything that
I wanted to do.
together.
Yeah, with cat earring or cat headband on top of like, you know, that she is a literal, you know, tabaxi that has cat ears. She's wearing a hot pink, you know, cat headband. And the fact that she is a black cat is taken from my childhood pet cat. Her name was Scrumptious, and she was a black little demon. And I just love cats so much. And this is my first time playing a tabaxi character, which is so much fun. I'm loving it. And yeah, so inspired heavily on my childhood trauma, but also is here for the goofs and the vibes and to make everything about her. So stay tuned.
I love Kira. I can tell people this now because I've moved past it. Hair flip, my hair is up. But I was super worried when we first started the podcast and both of you introduced your characters as like quirky furries. And I was like, oh fuck. Like I'm not gonna fit in at all. Like I gotta figure out a way to like make my character interesting now because both of them are being so interesting. And I was like super down on myself and I was like lashing out about it, being like, I hate you guys as characters. I want everybody to play something normal. And I'm so happy that we stuck with what you guys wanted to do because I really love both of your characters so much. And like you said, the relationships that are building between our three characters are going to be so good. And like it's such a slow burn too because I wouldn't consider them like besties by any means. Like all three of us are like, yeah, I kind of know her.
Oh, Banabin loves. Banabin's just like, they're my best friends. I've only
I
known
love them so much.
I've known them for 2 hours and I will die for them.
And I love that. Like that makes my heart feel so big because that's also how you are. Like that's how you love people. And I think that's wonderful. Like I just, oh man, I like our characters so much.
I will say, thinking back to like that first episode, it was interesting because we were going to attempt to have kind of a species discourse undertone between Kira and Banabin because Kira's a cat. Banabin is Harengon or bunny, and cats aren't like the biggest fans of rabbits.
I love to eat you.
Yeah, literally
So,
hunted.
It was going to kind of be a little bit of that, but then it just kind of took a life of its own, and Banabin was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to like get the rest of the silk out from
The spider
spider."
butt. I forgot about that.
And then
Oh
Kira
my
caught it,
God.
and Kira just sees Banabin just like
Yeah.
shoving her hand in there.
Just being a little weirdo. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Darren, what you
stuff.
got for us?
Well, since you guys got to answer something, I guess I am forced to answer something.
Yippee.
So another one from my mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. She asked, what is the draw for Darren to be a DM as opposed to a player? She also put in a note, by the way, he's really good at it. I've played in a game he's DM'd. Oh, thank you.
He has no choice.
I have essentially like that. That's kind of how I started DMing. Is I was like, I started getting into D&D and reading about it and watching Critical Role and being like, oh, this is awesome. I want to do it. And all I wanted to do was play D&D. All I wanted to do was talk about D&D. I wanted to play 24/7.
Super big hyperfixation,
the-
I can say as his wife.
Yeah.
Super big, very expensive.
And when you're thinking like that, it's like, oh, well, the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by DMing, like forcing people to play at my table, basically. But also just being like, if a lot of people don't want to DM, so the best way to get people to play together is to be like, I'll do that. I'll follow that sword. But then after a little while, I was just like, oh, this is fun. I like the process of like just pulling everything together. It means that I have fun homework where I can like where I can keep thinking about the campaign and working on the campaign even when we're not sitting right there. I also have a little bit of a control problem. So
I was literally going to interrupt you and be like, and as much as I love him, Darren's a little bit of a control
I'm a
freak.
little bit of a control freak.
Like, we've played some games where you are the player and like, I'm not DMing, you're not DMing, we're like somewhere and he hates it. Like hates it. He's
hate it.
He's a backseat DM. And
I
so
don't-
he's
yeah.
better at being a DM.
I mean,
full-time.
I don't say anything. I don't do anything. But there are moments where I'm like, "Ooh, I wouldn't have done it that way." And it takes a lot of energy for me to like be quiet when like a DM is missing a rule or something like that.
He's a mansplainer.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
100%.
Like,
I can confirm as the roommate.
DMing lets me like be a mansplainer without it being weird, like that's my job is to mansplain
I'm just
everything.
Ken.
Yeah, and he is.
And we
His
just
job
saw the
is
Marvel
DM.
movie, and I was seen. I was finally seen as a person.
Yeah, Darren is Knuff.
You need.
Sure.
Oh, we should
Thank you,
make that a
Gary.
TikTok. His job is like, and have like a video of Darren at the DM screen and be like, his job is DM. He just sits with his little figures and he rolls his little dice.
Yeah.
He comes with a DM screen and a
And a
bag of
dice
dice.
tray, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would blow up our TikTok.
Yeah,
Perfect.
We'll
I'm
do
in.
it.
We're doing it. So keep an eye out for that on
Follow
our
us on TikTok.
at Halfcasters.
I'm gonna start posting there. I promise.
Yes. Yeah.
I promise.
But yeah, that's basically it. Control freak. That's it. So let's move on here. Coriander over on Discord put in a question. They said, y'all are creating this podcast, which is a techno fantasy sword and magic campaign. Are there any other game genres that y'all have really enjoyed or that you look forward to playing someday?
Ooh.
Yeah. So with this game, my inspiration was a lot of like Final Fantasy 15 because I played that game and I was like, this is just the perfect D&D setting. So I started writing right off of that. But like I don't really play Final Fantasy other than that one game. I really like that one game and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone? What are you guys playing?
Have talked about quite a few other like campaign settings. I was running a campaign for us for a while that was like a noir cop drama type of thing. But I literally just backed them on Patreon. Not Patreon, on Kickstarter. There's a new Studio Ghibli inspired campaign that's coming out next year that I'm super, super excited about. So for me, like the world that we're playing in and the environment and like the type of magic and things like that, it doesn't really affect me. I love D&D as a whole. But we also play a lot of like as roommates, we were playing Zombicide for a while, which is like a zombie dystopian board game that I think would translate really well over to D&D as well. So it's like there's so many options.
Yeah. Was there any just like general like video game things you go back to? Like Garrett, you play a lot of Final Fantasy 14, don't you?
Yes, I do. I was like, D&D wise campaigns, I'm like, I'm just here vibing.
Yeah.
Just here vibing. I'm happy to really play whatever. And it's fun when we get to be chaos gremlins and throw the projected path so far off the trajectory that we don't even know how we got there. But video game wise, I play a lot of role play. So one of the big things that's coming up is the role playing server that I'm on is launching in 2 weeks. So that British accent I was talking about,
coming back.
It's coming back. But
Kara's gonna kill Banabin and have a new British elf character revealed in 3
enjoy
weeks.
The
Banabin.
elves
No.
are back. That's also a funny fact that I love about you is that you always play an elf except for the campaign that we're recording and showing to the world. So
Yeah.
you're no longer the elf player.
I'm no
Which
longer
is
the
so
elf.
funny because Kara has 2 tropes, which is elf who rolls bad.
Yeah,
Poorly rolling elf. Yeah.
Poorly rolls
It is-
every time.
it's just me.
love it.
But I do a lot of role play. I love playing Final Fantasy. The two that I play a lot, Final Fantasy 14 Online, which is next year getting its new expansion, which is exciting. The world has not ended, and also yet. That's the grip that they give you, and also Final Fantasy 16, which funnily enough is made by the same producers as Final Fantasy 14 Online.
Did 16 come out already?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's been out for a while,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
and I've been wanting to get it.
I'm so out of
It
the
just
loop.
came
dude.
out.
I'm so out of the loop.
It is so
I'm not
much,
a gamer anymore.
It is so much fun. If you're the thing is I have a relatively short attention span, so I've like tried to do The Sims, and I play it for a little bit and then I get bored.
Yep.
The one thing that I have been able to play that is not like role playing or like MMO RPG sort of thing, Chef Life. It's my chef game. Whenever I talk about chef game,
She cooking up.
I cook, and it's basically that's basically it. I cook. You role play as a chef.
What about you, Storm?
Oh, Darren knows this, and Darren's gonna roll his eyes. But I would love to run an Otome romance anime game
That's
style.
not what I expected you to say.
I want there to be 17 boyfriends that we all have to choose from.
Do we get
And
a beach scene?
We do, of course.
Every episode
Every
is the
other
beach
episode.
episode.
I'm
The
in.
beach episode. We got to have a school fireworks episode. We
Of
got to
course.
have like, but also I feel like it would be really cool to have that like sort of dynamic where it's like about finding love. Like that's like the main premise, but there's like magic involved and like there's like little elements of like fantasy.
Yeah.
Like a dating simulator game, but like make it D&D. And I feel like that would kind of like translate really well because you could have like, you know, sort of encounters, like maybe the person that you are like, you know, chasing after has another love interest who's also chasing after
And
this
you have
person.
to kill them.
And you have to fight them in the hallway with your magic and, you know, like just like make the encounters a little bit, you know, not so, you know, Game of Thrones, D&D-esque, but like have it be in a setting like, you know, like Dimension 20 Fantasy High, where it's like you have that sort of element that there's magic present in the world, but also it's like
You're still in high school.
You're still in high school and there's still like drama going on. There's still like high school tropes going on. But I feel like having like an Otome game where it's like the whole premise is that you're trying to find some sort of romance and or have some sort of drama. I love drama.
I love that idea.
She really
and-
does. Love
and if I
drama and
ever
romance.
DM'd one, and I've been thinking about DMing, but haven't really taken the steps to it. My games will be chaotic, and they will have like
17 boyfriends.
17 boyfriends. Like you tell me what you're interested in, like what your character would be interested in, and I'll make a whole world around it. Because Darren is really good at combat. I'm like, I feel like my strength would be probably like the interpersonal relationships within the actual storytelling and like making NPCs that like progress the story along and like throw you into encounters that are basically for shits and giggles. I love shitting and I love giggling.
Yeah.
Very true. That is your brand.
Yeah, I like that. I would like, I'm always a fan of like looking at stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I want more of a social thing, and then like I would 100% say like, let's find a different game system other than D&D to look at for that sort of thing, because there's all of these other RPG systems out there, and Dungeons and Dragons is
Isn't
the reason
giant
that we
sword
always
lesbians like that? Or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Great
I haven't
sword
looked at-
lesbians or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I did
Oh
love
yeah,
the
there'd
one.
be so many gay people in my
Yeah.
stories.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So many.
So we got to
But
find.
that's a game system that I think you would really like.
Yeah, we would want to find a game. Yeah, because like the thing with D&D is like the reason that we have so much combat encounters is that's like what the rules are built around. It's built around the combat systems, and you won't be able to use any of your abilities and stuff unless we have combat every once in a while. So then I'm like, oh, if we want to do a full social game, let's grab some other crazy game, City of Mist even. There's some other crazy stuff. So yeah. All I'm saying is there's other games other than D&D.
I don't need other games.
No, there
I can
aren't.
make it D&D.
Exactly. No, there
Fair
aren't. I'm a D&D enjoyer.
Fair enough.
We can
Well,
fight goblins, but the goblins will be your love interests.
They'll be
other love
sexy.
interests.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be sexy. They'll be in little dresses. They have lipstick on.
Why did I
little
get?
dresses.
You'll be hearing the clicky clacky of their heels down the school hallway.
Why did I get the mental image of the Gremlin movie?
Yes.
That is exactly it, Kara. 100% right on the money.
I am in.
See, and I expected you to be like, yeah, I would love to do like a cool ass anime campaign. Like I've been trying to bully Storm into doing a One Piece campaign for like 50 years.
100%. But
'cause
we're
that's
talking
your
about
special
video
interest.
games.
Yeah.
So
I
if
suppose.
it was any sort of thing, I would have definitely done like a One Piece or like some sort of like Hunter x Hunter, like Full Metal Alchemist, something along
Big
those.
weeb shit
Yeah.
vibes.
Oh, and that's going back to the first question of Kira and like her interests. It's definitely stems from my interest in anime and manga.
Yeah, you're 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
But
So don't-
Darren said
Here
that
we go.
anime and manga. We had this whole big
Whole
discussion,
thing, yeah.
whole argument at a coffee shop.
No,
we
it was
didn't.
fine.
No, we didn't. But I did
it
scare
wasn't
Darren.
heated.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I did
heated.
scare him because I was like, I want anime. He's like, but there's no TVs. And I'm like, well, I want manga. And he's like, but no one's drawing comics. And I'm like,
Make them draw
No, no, no.
comics,
I said-
Darren.
fuck's sake. But then,
We yes anded to
yeah,
the right
but we got,
position.
I
Yes,
whittled
but-
him down and he allowed, and he allowed me to have the radio and he allowed me to have fan fiction.
Yeah.
So, and manga, which is basically the equivalent
Yeah.
in this world.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think we ended up in like a really cool place with it too. Like that's
yeah.
that's something I always say with like DMs as like a piece of DM advice if you're ever doing it is never lock down your world fully. Like let your players like do the legwork for you.
Let
you know?
me
Weird,
have
yeah.
Instagram,
So
Darren.
I'm like-
let me have Instagram.
All right, that's where I draw the line.
Let your players make a medieval
Yeah.
Chili's.
Exactly. Like
we
don't
had
welcome to
margarita night.
Chili's.
We had margarita night. That's
Exactly.
pretty. I was
the
very
stuff that's
excited
not
about
gonna,
that.
Yeah, like if it's not gonna destroy your world, why the hell not?
Give
Like-
me my triple dipper.
It's just a different type of restaurant. They're in a tavern that is specifically Mexican food and margarita.
Taverns
Instead
are
of Chili's,
so
it's like
boring.
jalapenos. Like,
Yeah,
welcome
exactly.
to
I'm
jalapenos.
so sick of the standard D&D tavern. Spice it up, bitches. Make it a Chinese food place. Like, do something. They can't eat the same
turkey leg.
Yeah, turkey leg and soup. I'm sick of
With some
ale.
bread.
Give me a margarita.
Give me one
Or
margarita.
Ugh.
Oh man.
Give me 2 margaritas.
I will say, speaking of the manga, don't think we haven't forgotten of that little note at the very, very beginning when we first met Kira, where there was that note. For
I
the
woke
3
up one night and I remembered that, and I was like, "Oh, I have to talk to Darren about that because I had totally forgotten
Wait,
about
what
that."
note? I don't remember that.
Kara, tell about the note.
Okay, so think back to episode 1.
Yeah, the 3 goblins and a
3
trench.
goblins in a trench coat, and Kira was able to open one of the doors, and it had the latest edition
Oh, yes.
of Two Piece in there,
Yep.
and of the Two Piece fan fiction, and there was a note on there from the ghostwriter.
Yes.
I had forgotten about that.
Oh, I hadn't. I was like, when are we going to meet them?
You know, and I was like, "Oh man, I should have in the arena should have like screamed it out loud, like, who the fuck is this motherfucker?"
If
But-
anybody knows who this is, speak now.
Oh my god, I miss XX underscore dark angels with a Z underscore XX. I miss my lover, my true
Lovers.
lover.
Lovers.
My lovers with a Z. With a Z.
Oh, God.
And then it has like the colon 3 afterwards.
Yeah.
Lovers.
Meh.
What
All
else
right.
we got?
Well,
I have a short question.
go for it.
Short question.
What happened to Maeve's accent?
It's still there. It's just subtle, like my real one. Because as I mentioned, I'm from New York, so that's what you get. Occasionally,
I'm from New York.
if she asks for a cup of water, you'll hear it. You want some water?
That Rochester water.
I haven't been talking to my ma. Like, we're not in the situation.
I mean, I do like that though. That it's like whenever you're interacting with your family, it
comes out.
and it comes
Like,
out for me too.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how it is in real life. Like when I talk to my New York family, the New York accent comes out.
Yeah,
But other than that, easily maskable.
Yep.
Easily maskable.
Yeah, I was wondering about that last episode. I was like, wait a second. But I hadn't thought about it until right now.
Yeah, hit me with some words I can say in a New York
Ma.
accent, and I will.
Sandwich.
I've been thinking about it.
Give me that sandwich.
Yeah. But that's where the accent is. It's
Yeah.
hidden away for when I speak to my ma. And I yell about my shithead brothers.
So next up, we've got Tiff again. Hello, Tiff.
Hi, Tiff.
They
Tippy.
Hello.
they asked, "What's your favorite memory from the campaign so far?" And I want to elaborate that on a little bit, which is this cool thing that happens when I play D&D. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, where all the memories I have of the game are always of the characters doing stuff and not of us sitting at the table. I don't know if you guys have that.
I like that.
Does
I like
anyone
that
else?
too.
Does that happen to anyone else? Where it's like the things that I remember the most are like in the last game, like just the image of Kira flying through the air to attack the Barlgura, stuff like that.
I love
just stick out
that.
of my head. I guess I'm the only one, but anyway,
Yeah,
over to you
no,
guys.
I do the same thing.
No, I did
Yay.
the same. I was going to say my favorite memory is just all of the hijinks that we get our characters into, like
So many.
the medieval Mexican chilies,
BOGO margaritas.
BOGO margaritas.
Margarutis.
God, that was the funniest. Like the way that you guys just like we had to pause for a second because Storm was just laughing too hard.
So hard.
at Fogo margaritas.
But stuff like that and the whole like just the way that we just take everything, we will take very minor things and then just twist it just a little, like the
blood kiss?
yeah, like blood kith and
I gotta start saying these things out loud.
blood kith and the whole like how Banabin made Kira and Maeve stuff from
Yeah.
spider silk.
Yeah.
That she dyed red in the blood of the spider.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, and then like Maeve kind of being like, yeah, so they're all in the house, and my brother Dom isn't there, and so we're just gonna. I've totally fixed everything. Everything is back in its place when we stole his stuff.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
Me rolling my 4 or whatever I did on putting everything back the way it was.
It's probably fine.
It's fine.
The way
fine.
I've thought of it in my head was Maeve is like quickly looking around, and everything is like, okay, it's good. And she turns around, and it's just like a door. It's that one kind of scene from an anime where it's like the top cupboard door hinge just breaks and it's just like swinging.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the way I justified that scene in my head was like Maeve never goes in there, so she doesn't know where anything was before she went in and ransacked the place.
Yeah, you weren't the only one touching things.
Yeah.
Like you didn't see the specific way that Kira
Exactly.
moved stuff or whatever. Yeah.
What about you, Storm? What's your favorite moment from the campaign so far?
I hate to be so cliche, but the cha-cha slide just has like a big part in my heart. Like,
Everybody clap your hands.
and the fact that it worked, like I was rolling nat 1s, nat 2s, like, and the
Finally
fact
worked on the
that
cha-cha slide.
cha-cha slide got like a cheeky 18, like that.
And my favorite part is that you got the final blow on the creature, and I said, "How do you want to kill it?" And you were like, "Well, first I slide to the left." That was the funniest line.
See, I totally forgot that. I need to start listening to the
no,
podcast.
you're literally so effortlessly funny on the podcast. It makes me laugh so much. My campaign memories are really, really bad. Like we stopped recording and my brain immediately just and rewinds like I don't remember shit. But something that stood out to me literally immediately was the 3 goblins in a trench coat boyfriend. And
A classic.
and
Yeah.
Kira being like, well, does he have guy liner on? Was so funny to me. Like, she wasn't upset about being lied to, just upset that he's not emo enough. And I think that's so hilarious.
Kira would have looked past the 3 goblins
Yeah,
in the
she'd
trench
be like,
coat.
okay, whatever, 3 boyfriends, who cares? But not 3 un-emo boyfriends. Waste of my time.
And what was
was
really
so
funny
funny.
is after we had that session, Darren and I had a conversation. He was like, yeah, I was sweating for a second that you were going to say yes to the marriage proposal. So
Like-
things could have turned a sharp left on episode 1 if Darren had answered that one question as being yes. Like
Oh, man.
things would have changed.
You're
Yeah,
walking down the aisle.
they would have been your animal companion
Yeah.
for the rest of the campaign. Just run around into the battles with you guys. Just awkward like conversations between the
Yeah.
goblins and Maeve and
Us and
Vandervan.
your 3 husbands.
Yeah, exactly. Kira goes off for a minute, leaves the goblins behind. It's like, hey guys.
They hold the bag.
Yeah, we're all just
They
like,
hold our stuff.
Yeah, that always stood out to me. I think about that regularly. Like, I'll just be sitting at my desk at work and be like, she really almost married 3 goblins in a trench coat.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I also love the imagery of just the comedic aspects. So when after she put the bracer on and Maeve was like, we're okay, like we're gonna go this way now.
Yep.
we're gonna go to the church.
We're gonna go to the church. And when Kira figured out what was going on,
Just dove out of a window.
jumped and dove out of the way I imagined it was, it's kind of like if you imagine like the great one of the cathedrals, the very famous cathedral in Washington DC, with that really big mural at the
Yep.
very, very top. That's how I imagined it in my head. And it was literally Kira's just like is running off and leaps, and Maeve is just kind of like a little piece of paper in the wind.
Yeah, holding on for dear life. Yeah, I think we as like a group have gotten a lot better about our descriptions as well of like what we're doing and just like the visuals of it, building the scene so that it's easier to imagine. But that was, you're right, the first one that I remember being like, oh, I can see this. Like, I'm like, we're inside of a dark cathedral. It's like stone. Their lights aren't like light bulbs and stuff aren't invented yet. So it's dark, candle lit. And there's these beautiful stained glass windows. And Kira just launches out of one.
In my
The
head,
Flint
it was
Lockwood run.
yes. In my head, when all like the people were like kind of like crowding around me, I imagined it in my head, and I don't think I like used this description in the actual podcast because things were happening too fast. But it was like in anime when the characters start going crazy,
Yeah,
and
you
like
get that
their-
weird
yeah,
angle.
the weird distorted angle where their eyes are like bugging out, like
And
you
their
could just
mouth
like
is really small.
I like saw it in my head that like I was like on third person like looking at Kira and like saw her like face and her eyes start distorting and like the shape of her face, you know, starts getting spread out because it's like the crazy anime angle. And it was like that, and then she bolted and she left. And that was so fun.
Yeah.
And then she's just happy with her man.
Yeah, she's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't like this. The vibes are off.
The whole
So
Malarix being in the void with Malarix. And
Yes. You
that-
being like, shut up, I'm trying to die.
And then Darren says, it's so funny because Darren, I don't feel like Darren, we had a conversation after that session and Darren did not see the fact that Kira was gonna like be romantically involved with Malarix. It's like Darren says one thing in the podcast, like in passing, not even thinking about it. And then me as Kira clings on to it and is like, oh, so
As
you
an
like me.
insane person.
So you like me. And here we go. He has started
It's it.
something he
The
never
claws
thought
are
was.
in. Yep.
There's no going back now.
Yeah. I really like that too. Like, both of you do it really well where you'll hear a plot point because I don't know what happens to my fucking brain during these podcasts, but I swear it's like ghost cricket sound. But you guys will hear certain details or certain little descriptors and be like, oh yeah, on it. Locked in. And I'm trying to get like y'all.
I think the thing that helps me is the fact that I made Banabin just kind of a tinker and will literally go pick up broken
Yeah.
shards of glass.
So
and
you're just listening for features.
I'm
You're
listening-
like, where the glass at?
yeah, I'm literally listening purely so I can be like, can I salvage something from this?
Yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, we pushed all those bookshelves over. Can I have some of the paper from the books? Like, you're just very detail oriented. I want to be like that so bad.
I feel like your character is like very serious, and I feel like that helps balance our group out though.
That's
because
true.
if
Oh,
you
yeah.
were goofy silly as well, it just nothing would get done.
Never.
We'd still be like plot
Yeah.
wise on like episode 3 at this point, because we'd be goofing around too much. So I think that your character really holds the fort down. And what's it called? I feel like it would be out of character for Maeve to like be like going and trying to goof up everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like every, Banabin and Maeve and Kira, they all have their like their things that they add, their elements that they add to the plot.
Have we had a Kira and Banabin off on their own stuff?
We
yet?
went to church.
Yep, you went to church.
Malarix's
We
little
did a
slut shirt.
Yep, yeah. I want
Little
a
whore.
full
Little whore.
like side quest where you guys go off to do something on your own.
Yeah.
And
definitely
just, like, the
need
chaos.
A
Into-
Kira Bannerman episode of just absolute chaos.
We're gonna split
Kira
the
and
party.
Banabin, the two furry.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the two furry characters
We go to a
the
furry
beach.
convention. Oh, okay, furry convention.
There you go. But you're both
thing.
animals already.
They're like, how much did that fursuit cost you? Oh,
Free.
free 99, bitch. No, but I really think that we should, because I feel like Maeve and I had that one shot where we went off and did some hooligan stuff at a John Mayer bar, and I feel like
Forgot about that.
we need our Doja Cat bar moment. Me and Bannerman,
Yes. I feel like
We'll make it
chaos.
happen.
I feel like chaos would ensue.
Yeah.
or maybe Dolly Parton. I feel like with your twang, it gotta be Dolly Parton.
A Dolly Parton country bar.
Yeah, country bumpkin moment where Kira's surrounded by what is it? From NADPOD. What is it? The Crick elves.
Oh yeah. Bunch of crick elves.
Yeah, a bunch of Crick elves, like the country elves.
Oh my goodness.
I think that would be really fun, like dynamic as well.
Yeah.
But we should. Darren, get to note writing right now.
Cool.
But yes, definitely.
Yeah, we gotta have more one-on-one moments, you know?
We gotta build the friendships.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's like Sims. You gotta interact
Besties.
Yeah.
10,000 times. I gotta ask you what you're. Get to know. Get to know.
Take a bunch of pictures.
What
Oh my God,
discuss
we're friends.
interests. Discuss interests just over and over and over again.
And then one cheeky flirt.
And then you drop it. Just negative bars above my head.
That would
Drop
be
it,
very
drop
funny.
it. Sorry.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up here with Daz Story Hour. Daz over on Patreon.
Don't make fun of Daz. This is the sweetest thing you could have ever possibly done.
Oh yeah, Daz is
We
great.
love Daz
Sent us
here.
a whole bunch of stuff here. So they sent some just like thoughts on the podcast, and then they sent a bunch of questions. So I'm gonna do the thoughts first, and then we'll run through some of the
Ooh,
questions.
don't do the thoughts first. I'm
I
gonna
got it.
cry
Oh, do you
if
want me
you
to
do
end
the
on
thoughts first.
All right,
yeah.
we'll do the questions first.
I don't want to cry and then have to answer questions.
Let's see. How are you all finding the storyline / lore and character development? Is there anything you're all really looking forward to?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so looking forward to Kira's backstory.
That's what I was gonna say.
So looking forward to it. And I want because in my head, like I'm filling in the gaps, right? So I'm like, I want to go to the Fae realm with Banabin as well. I'm
Ooh.
looking forward to those two things so bad. I need them.
Yep.
That would be really fun. Des, actually, before we recorded this episode today, one of their questions that they were going to bring to the table was going to be like Kira's backstory. And I was like, I can't say anything because it's going to be a plot point later on.
Yeah, good
But
old
I
plot.
had-
no one caught it, but one episode you guys made reference to like childhood, and like someone made like a comment that was like, oh yeah, my childhood was like really hard and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, me too. And
I
no
did
one-
catch that,
and no
actually.
one, you caught it, but you did not dive into it.
I
So
didn't-
it went past by, and I was like, people are gonna look back on that and be
Yeah.
like,
I
So-
For all the
am
reading
waiting
reference.
for your big reveal. I don't want to out your reveal
Yeah.
before it's time.
if I'm putting little teasers in there, it's for people to claw onto.
You're right. I'm learning that now. I'm learning that.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna she wants to be known so badly, but she's not gonna She's gonna just put a little fishing line out, and if you don't grab onto it, she's just gonna roll it back in.
True.
Yeah, it's the
Reel it in.
standards. I'm so ugly, and then
Fishing for compliments.
Yeah,
Yes.
like eyes emoji at Maeve and Banabin. I'm so ugly. Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
wink, wink. That's eyelashes.
No, of course you're
No.
not. You're so beautiful. What do you mean?
But I'm very excited for that because Darren and I have talked about it a little bit, and it's gonna be fun.
Hurry up, Darren.
Gun emoji. Kara,
Nice.
anything?
Yeah, I'm excited to just slightly random that in my brain, I'm like, it can't be random because it's such a detailed aspect. Like the whole Ghost Rider for the two-piece fan fiction.
Yeah.
And the fact that we found some of the original two-piece. So are we going to find the rest of the two-piece stuff?
Are we gonna find the 2-piece, Darren? Are we gonna find the 2-piece?
Oh, the two-piece?
Yeah,
not
the
the
2-piece.
taking
The two-piece
notes.
to rule them all.
But also like
Well,
You have to put
two-piece,
it in
question
hell.
mark? Yep, you got to go to hell.
When
to
we
find it.
start closing portals and we go to hell.
but also
There.
like finding out who was the mysterious female
Yes, I
from
need
the
to
sending
know.
stone, and does Dom find out that we went through his stuff? And
Oh yeah, that
He
I have
will
his
when,
boots right now.
when Kira starts big stepping in his boots, he's gonna find out. Just absolute new shoe jerkin.
but also it's like, is Maeve going to stage a coup d'etat against her brother in a rebellion and become the new mob boss?
Maybe.
We'll just have to see. We'll
Maeve.
see
I have
what you guys wanna do.
nine brothers to kill before I'm number one.
Not if you get them to support you.
True.
That's all you
Cool.
need.
We just
Game
have
of
to win
Thrones
them,
style.
win
yeah.
them one by one.
So true.
Oh, going back to that one question about our favorite moments, mashed potatoes. I'm just
Yes.
gonna say that
Mashed potato
potatoes
rats
done.
was originally my answer, and then I was like, you know what? It's the Goblin Boyfriends.
Oh, man,
Also,
that's so
when
good.
we went into the room where we found the 2-piece original thing and how we had a whole big plan, and it
instantly failed the stealth check
instantly
and it's
failed
over.
with when I rolled like a 5.
Yeah.
The first roll of the whole like stealth mission, and I rolled a 5, and it just went downhill.
Exactly.
So
and you guys were all like, she's got good stealth. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
And
it's
then,
better than any of us
sometimes you
doing
just
it. We
roll
have to
out.
roll at disadvantage.
I think I have like a +5.
Yeah, you
or
do.
something.
Your stealth
You do,
stats are
yeah.
so high.
Hold on, let me find it.
Oh,
+4,
yeah.
but even still that was
So
one of the
funny.
funniest memories.
Yep. Love it. All right. Next. One for the GM too. Hey, that's me. How do you pull inspiration for the next episodes? Mostly just like consuming lots of media. So watching movies and shows, but also like I'll find like a specific thing I want to do, and then everything else will kind of just come into place based on questions. So like if there's a monster that I really want to do, then it's like, okay, so I look up what kind of environment are they in? So how do I get the players there? Then that kind of informs what kind of layer that thing is in, that sort of thing. So like with the underground stuff, I was like, that kind of all came naturally. I was like, I need underground creatures. So then I looked up all the underground creatures and I found the chitines, and I was like, cool, we'll use those. And then even like the Kruthik, which was the big creature
Big.
in the sewers when you guys found the room with 2-piece in it. Like I was just like, okay, so they have to dig their way up here. Do they have a machine? Or, oh, it would be cool if it was a creature, because then that's an extra creature that they have to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mostly just problem solving for the most part. It's like, I know where I want to get to, so let's problem solve to get there. And then we end up with some little encounters and stuff. Yeah, that's basically it. But a lot of movies and shows and stuff, and being like, ooh, how do I do that but in D&D? It's usually how I find my inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Any plans on merch in the future? And do we need more dice? Because I will gladly give you all my money. Yeah, merch.
No, we don't need any more dice.
I
Kara does.
I was about to say, I was like,
Okay,
if
yeah,
that's
Kara
at
does.
me, then yes.
Yeah.
Kara needs some blessed dice.
Yeah.
We
if
just need to
you
get you
have
so
to
many so
bless
that you can
them
keep rotating through all of
with
them.
a priest or a rabbi or whatever religion you'd like has to be officially blessed for Kara to be able to roll them.
But yeah, merch in the future is definitely something I've looked at and considered. I think that it's a cool idea. I kind of
I
like
would love a
our logo,
t-shirt.
and I would love to. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
make it happen. I
Easy.
can do that today.
All right, let's make some merch.
We're gonna
Cool.
make some merch. Keep an eye out
Black
on the
t-shirt
Discord.
for Kira. It has to be
Yeah.
black.
I would love to see the the poster
Oh
of
yeah.
all three of us.
The
Yep.
post. Oh. Oh. Yeah.
The daring daggers,
Yeah, the Daring Daggers poster.
dangerous daggers. Yeah,
Dangerous. Yeah, that's
the double
what they
D's.
are.
They're the double D's.
The double D's.
Oh wait, that has to be a merch item.
Oh,
the
the double
double
D's.
Ds.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
across the shirt. No one will understand it.
And with like the boob emoji.
yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Just a B on its side. Cool. Great. Well, that's everything as far as questions go. So now
It's feedback
It's time for Daz to say how amazing you guys are.
Don't start with me.
So we'll do it in order. So Storm. Daz says,
Continue.
I cannot express how much I freaking love Kira. The emo scene queen is taking me back to my teen years, and I'm absolutely living for it. The band name Sent Me, and I'm still referencing them as such, and will die on this hill. Bring me the hose.
Exactly.
It's the worst one.
That's why it's the best.
Bring me the hose. Des, I love Maeve so much. Oh my God. It reminds me of my best friend, and it makes my day without fail. I'm loving seeing your character grow and step into new opportunities, and I can't wait to see what's to come.
Daz, are you saying that I'm your best friend? Because it's just me, bestie. And then me.
And then Kara, Banabin had me with that southern sass, my heart. Doge makes me laugh so much, and just picturing this massive robo dog just makes my day. I love your character so hecking much.
Woof.
Much. Wow.
I absolutely adore y'all. I feel insane that I've just binged these episodes over and over again, on the edge of my seat for more. You're all amazing, and I cannot thank you enough for genuinely creating one of the best and most hilarious podcasts I've ever experienced. So thank you, Daz.
Daz, these
Daz.
episodes are going to come out forever for you. Forever.
Yeah, we're doing it just for Daz. No one else has to listen.
Literally.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
I love all of you. Thank you for submitting questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap up there. That's
Woo woo nya nya.
good little thing. I liked this. Hey, you liked it? We'll probably do it again in the future. Maybe this could be something we do after
Every arc.
Every arc, yeah.
Yeah.
We do another Q&A check in.
Mid-season finale, season finale.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put out the requests over all of our socials, so make sure to follow us there if you want updates or anything. Keep an eye out for the merch store. That'll be announced on socials as well.
It's going to happen.
We're at Halfcasters mostly everywhere. I would just say go to halfcasters.com. I got links for everything there.
Halfcasters.com/socials.
Yeah. I'm specifically going to plug our Discord this time because we have a good time over there. More casual conversations happen there, and we have a good time. So check that out. Anything anyone wants to plug or point the people to?
Did we ever figure out what we wanted our hashtag for fan art to be?
No.
I think we did Halfcaster Shart.
Yeah.
No,
Shart? Oh yeah. I forgot.
HC Shart.
HG Shart. We like. I think it should just be Halfcasters art and hashtag Halfcasters for general stuff. Just because no one else is using the hashtag, and I think that's a nice, clean hashtag.
Yeah,
to
but
go.
imagine it had the word shart in it.
All right. So hashtag Halfcasters, and then you can put hashtag HC Shart.
Just for me.
For
Literally
memes.
just for me.
Just for
But also you can just tag me. Tag
Yeah.
me on Twitter if you make any art. It's _ cool bagel. It's not an underscore. There's no underscore. I keep adding it. It's
uncool.
just uncool bagels.
Oh yeah. And if you're leaving Twitter, I got a Threads up as well that I'm posting.
I'm not making one of those.
Because it's not even Twitter anymore. It's x.com.
It's
So
still
cool.
Twitter. It's still Twitter
until they get rid of the tweets, which is soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
I'm boring. No.
Fantastic.
I have not started streaming, but that might happen
Follow her
Eventually.
anyway.
at
Follow-
some point.
Pre-follow her so that we're good to go.
We
Turn
might.
notifications on.
My fiance and I might do potential IRL driving streams where I am passenger princess
There you go.
Nice. That's a good.
and
way
he
to go.
just drives.
I like
Easy
that.
mode.
Cool. Well, that's everything. Shout out to our inner circle over on Patreon. We got Heather S. We've got Michael C. We've got Daz. Of course, we love Daz.
Thank you,
And,
Daz.
Of course, we have our very own Kara. Thanks for supporting it.
Thank
and
you,
also being on the
Kara.
podcast.
That's me.
Oh, that's me. Cool. So that's everything. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.